Hey, you guys, and thanks for tuning in to ED Live. I'm Katie Krause, and Mandy Teefey is here, who is, of course, one of the EPs of 13 Reasons Why, Season 2, streaming now. You're also Selena Gomez's mom, and this is kind of your guys' brainchild and baby from Season 1. So why was it important for you to continue telling the story with Season 2?
Well, I felt there was a lot more to explore, and there were a lot of answers in the feedback that we received. We realized that people were really yearning for this type of conversation, and that there was a lot of places to explore more of the social issues that are currently happening. And so why leave it if we can continue creating the conversation?
Yeah, talk about some of those issues and what conversations that you've seen sparked online through this season so far.
I actually don't read online comments.
Really?
Yeah,
Why is that?
I prefer to have conversations with people, so I randomly talk to people, and it's very strange. But I just feel sometimes, I'll read on my Instagram and things like that,
Sure.
but I don't really kind of go to different places, because if the content just seems like it's a little off, it's like, okay, you're missing the point and you're shutting down the conversation that these kids are wanting to have. So it could be a reverse effect of what I feel like we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
When they get, it's almost like, don't talk about this, and now you're doing a recluse, and now the kids are afraid to talk because it's being shamed that it happened. So,
which is so sad to me in a lot of ways.
It's kind of dumbfounding to me, and I don't know if it's because I'm so into psychology and that I'm always curious, and I talk to anybody, and my husband's like, you're gonna get robbed or attacked one day. You just stop and talk to everybody and want to know why they're doing this and why they're doing that. And I'm like, I don't know, it's just something that kind of is always on my mind. So,
and it's intriguing to you.
It's intriguing to me. I don't judge, I don't care, I just want to know, okay, why, I had to cancel and shut down my Facebook during the campaign because I was literally on there all the time, curious. But okay, well, why?
Yeah.
Well, why? Like more than some random statement. It's like, why do you feel this way? And I was like, oh my gosh, that was my first time on social media ever, and I closed the account within a month because I was I'm too curious.
Yeah, and you'd be going through.
So
and,
I would go through a loop.
I
would go through a loop if I did that all the time. But I do go through my Instagram sometimes.
Okay, I see you responding to some fans
Yeah,
sometimes, which I think is nice that they feel that connected to you and that they can ask you questions and that you do respond a lot. And a lot of people don't do that. So
yeah,
I think that's great. By the way, if you guys are just now tuning in, Mandy Teefey is here. Send your questions in. We'll get them right here on this iPad. I do want to ask you, with Season 2, there was no book to go off of. Did that make it more challenging for you guys to put together this season and to dictate where the story was going to go?
Well, that's really all Brian Yorkie. You know, it was, it definitely, they worked and put it together, and, they kind of bring it and, propose this is their idea. And he's just him and the writing team are so amazing. There's just really no need to kind of second guess where he's going. And so it was just kind of really, what are the topics that would be relevant and would make sense and that are pertinent to this time. That is what we kind of had, really looked in, I think, for the end product.
Sure.
But, I wasn't in that's his brainchild.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I know that you and Selena have both been very vocal about how close to home this project was for both of you. How do you think this show would have impacted your younger self and also Selena's younger self?
That's a good question. I wish that because I actually talked about this in a different interview. I actually sat Selena in front of intervention, and we watched a couple episodes because there was a lot of drug addiction that ran through my family, and not my parents or like that, but through my family that I witnessed as a kid growing up. And that to me, being in it, I saw it, and I think you either go one way or the other. It's something that you rebel with, or you've seen it, so you don't want to go down that lane. And I never went down that lane because of that. And, because I was around it. And so, and intervention's a little hardcore. So it's something you have to monitor and then kind of talk about.
Yeah.
But anything was I can't recall anything that wasn't this bubblegum that wasn't a bubblegum kind of promising world.
Yeah.
And I wish that I would have had something instead of like, oh, I've been there, come to me kind of thing, because I don't think kids really believe their parents when they say that.
That's all kids, though.
Yeah,
right?
you know,
That's
yeah,
kind
they're
of-
just like, okay, yeah, whatever. You never were young. You're always old.
Yeah.
So,
How old was Selena when you made her watch those episodes of Intervention? I find that
I think
fascinating.
11.
Wow. Was she terrified? Do you think it worked? Do you think it instilled some sort of...
I don't know. I hope. I mean, she wasn't scared when it was happening, so maybe it like did or didn't, but she kind of understood what I was like saying, you know, and I would screen parts and like we would fast forward, so it wasn't like I'd let her see certain things, but you know, like the conversations and the actual interventions and what it's done and stuff. That's what I did. Wow. Yeah.
As a mom, like you're so open and genuine, it seems like, especially with wanting to take on this project. But there's a lot of parents that are calling for Netflix to take down this show, and there's a lot of parents who don't want their kids to watch 13 Reasons Why. How do you respond to them?
Well, I wouldn't tell anybody really how to parent their own child, and that's up to them. I feel that we gave it as a platform and a tool to be dialogue, because I use this kind of a comparison a lot on the documentary Bully that was made years ago. I feel like kids who went to see that documentary already don't like bullying. So you have to kind of put it into a way that the like kids that aren't going to really realize what they're getting into. I don't think a lot of them knew it was going to be such a conversation starter. And you saw, you know, like letters going home, you know, to parents, and like their kid probably already saw the show. So, and it's like, it kind of, I think, almost made a connection, whether they wanted to make it or not, you know, or they weren't aware. So the fact that we're talking about it and that it was so talked about, and that was our goal.
Yeah.
Was it's something that's been looming over our society for so long, and it has went up 60% in the last like 45 years. And I just feel
Which is so sad.
It's so sad. And you know, there's no way to exactly predict someone that's going to do that. And I think if we all wore a camera all day long, we would catch probably 20 things that we do that's kind of crappy to somebody, and we don't mean for it to be.
So you feel like this show holds up a mirror almost?
Yeah, definitely.
Society.
It's a reflection.
Yeah.
And I think that's great storytelling in general. Is that's like, I think that's why animations work so well, because it's a fantasy land, but the writers and the directors, they keep it to the heart.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody goes to them, is because of that.
We were talking earlier, and we had one of the cast members in here a couple days ago. There is a scene this season, it's in the last episode, and it involves Tyler in a bathroom, and he gets sodomized. How do you respond to people who cannot believe that that scene is in this show?
I would just suggest that they Google the news and
That
see
it's
that
actually
it does,
happening.
that it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing that anybody ever has put or had the desire in our group to make anything gratuitous or shock value. It's like, it's shocking, it's horrific, but it's happening.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's videos, you know, that people post, and that's online forever. And so it's just the culture.
Sure.
You know, so you just look it up and then educate yourself that, you know, you need to look out for this.
What about in the finale? This is a spoiler alert for anyone who's watching, but it ends with an almost school shooting, and Clay, of course, prevents it from happening. That seems so reflective of what is going on right now, most recently with Houston. How do you talk about that and the realness of the show in that regard?
You know, when I was thinking about that, first of all, in the morning when I saw that, I felt, oh my gosh, this is hopeless. There's been more school shootings than the years of our, you know, so it's like, what was it, 22, and it's only 20 weeks of the year. And what I really think this show, besides that scene, should that I really liked is Mr. Porter. I feel like first season people kind of like felt that we, and this is my opinion, people felt like we weren't giving the fair shot to school counselors and we were putting blame on them. But if you really, really, really watch and pay attention to that character, he came from a school that people were dying. So when you come in and you say pants, he's like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Like, and so was he supplied with the tools he needed to transfer to a different like culture, or did the system fail them? And so I feel like instead of like, for instance, and I'm not gonna like get like political here, but for instance, LA, they're trying to build that $3.5 billion prison.
Right.
So the biggest one in the world. So why are we not taking some of that money and allocating it into the school system to prevent filling up that prison?
Right.
Because then the goal is going to be to fill the prison. So I feel like if you put the money into the education, the educators, and take care of the people who are taking care of our kids, that's where you see, yes, Mr. Porter cared, but where was he? What was he really supposed to do?
And to that regard, I almost feel like he didn't realize the impact that he would have on these students. And I think it would be so beneficial for counselors to watch this show so that they don't make the same.
Well, you know,
mistake.
it's not even, you know, it's not even necessarily, like, I don't know, yeah, like his phone rang. It's like, it's the, I think we all can miss a sign, and that's the point. And so you don't, you know, I don't want to put, it wasn't like putting blame on, it's like, there was 2 counselors in that entire school. And then he does have his own kid and wife, and the phone rang. But like, of course, like it was true. It's like, if you don't tell me, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. His hands are tied. And so then the phone rings and life happens. And then unfortunately, everybody's just, it's just such a fast-paced time that that's the importance of just like, you know, kind of paying attention.
Yeah. Changing gears a little bit, I know that you actually acted in the past.
Oh my gosh.
Did you?
I don't think I officially acted.
Or you did plays, right?
I did like 4 plays, yeah.
Did you ever think about putting yourself in this series and playing maybe the role of Kate Walsh?
No. Oh gosh, no. I would have tore this apart.
Really?
It would have, no. Okay. I have no skill at all.
Well, you do have your own production company, though, Kick to the Curb Production. So I'm curious what other shows, or I know we were talking earlier about a documentary, like what else do you want to explore aside from 13 Reasons Why?
Well, we do have the documentary, like it's like a docuseries kind of thing that explores the world of nature versus nurture, and it is kind of following a little bit of where I came from and the difference in how you branch out, and like kind of just the different ways of making decisions and how different elements of my life affected my decisions to see, okay, why am I here right now at my age still questioning who I am and where why I make the decisions I do. And so then we also have a couple of other books that we're adapting. We're currently adapting, and I basically only other one is, we only have one other YA. The rest is older content. So it's just about, it has to have some kind of message to it without being preachy, and it just has to mean something. I don't know. For me, it's all about the story. So that's why there's not tons of content. We're so slow, and I have a problem with being perfect.
No,
like,
that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, it's like, that's why there's like not tons of content, but we're in development, like in different levels, and hopefully we can announce some of them like really soon, because I'm really excited about a few.
Will we know what the YA novel is? Is it one?
Yes, it was a New York Times bestseller.
Okay.
Yeah.
When can we expect an announcement?
Hopefully next month.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Will we ever see Selena in one of the projects?
I mean, the ones on my slate now, no. I don't know where she would fit. Yeah. But no, not like, but I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I can't say no and then,
sure.
you know.
I feel like you have given up. You had Selena very young. You were 16 years old, and you really dedicated your life to her career in many ways. To know now and to see her be one of the most famous stars in the world, what is that like?
I don't know. I mean, it's to me, when you're here in LA, we're in a bubble.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem weird until I'm out like in Wisconsin or something, and someone like in line is talking about her and like knows what she wore or where she was, and I like had no clue. You know what I mean? It's like, 'cause she's an adult. And so people will ask, when they ask me questions and I don't know because we don't talk about that, you know, that's when I think it's weird.
Sure.
Because I'm like, okay, that's a super weird thing, because it's just
your daughter.
normal out here, you know, that this is what most people do. And I don't know. So it's kind of I'm extremely proud of her and all the hard work that she did, and you know, and where she's gone and the choices that she's made. It's just it's you know, it's your kid. It's hard to explain, really.
Yeah.
Like, I don't look at her as superhuman, and it's funny because like Joey King, I mean, when they did Ramon Beasley's, and I see her kissing a guy in that new Netflix show, I'm going, what's happening? Like, and when they're so little and you watch them grow up, like, and you know, Nick Jonas had his single out, and I was like jamming, and I'm going, oh wait a minute, this is really awkward because I've known you since you were like 14, but you're now singing about sex.
Yeah.
And,
and he's ripped now.
I know, he's all ripped and he's a man, and I'm going, no.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I think you get stuck in a time warp.
Right. Obviously, Selena has been very vocal and candid about her health struggles. She recently had a kidney transplant. For you as her mom, what was that like, and how difficult was that for you?
That was probably one of the hardest things to ever experience as a parent, and especially when there was complications, and it was just me and her, you know, and she had to go in, and it was I was not only carrying first the weight of the mother, but also I felt the weight for like Francia and her mother and her family. And you know, I think I'm banned from Cedars just because I went to both sides of the towers, because for some reason they were like in different towers, and I was just like every little thing, like I was monitoring and like yelling and freaking out. But it was pretty rough.
Sure.
And like, so God bless any of the families that have kids that have ongoing illnesses, because the strength that those families have is insane, because that was just, I mean, she will always have lupus, but
Yeah.
you know, that hopefully that was a one-time thing for us.
Yeah. When you found out that Francia was a match, I mean, what goes through your head? And I know that you're so close to her. I see her commenting on your Instagram and vice versa, and I know that she's a close family friend.
The thing that was interesting is how we actually met Francia. I recall her, she was one of the first people that was not part of the channel that introduced herself to Selena and made her feel comfortable, like at the Teen Choice Awards. I remember the moment I met Francia, and I can't tell you the moment I met a lot of people.
Right.
And so I literally where it was, and I'm in. So that was just really strange how I think things align. Like, she walked up and she introduced herself. She was on the ABC show, and so she was already established and everything. And she just walked up to Selena and introduced herself and gave her a hug and made her like really welcomed. And that resonated with me because it's such a tough industry that you don't really get that a lot.
Especially among, and not to like make this about young women and mean girls, but I feel like this industry does lend itself to that. And so to know that she was so open and had such a good heart, yeah, it does mean something.
Yeah, you remember it for sure out here. Yeah.
We have a bunch of questions coming in, so we're going to take some of them. Lots of folks are saying how much they love the show.
Thank you.
T on YouTube says, do you love season 1 or season 2 of 13 Reasons Why better?
Can you really comment on it when it's your baby?
Right,
It's like,
right.
you
It's
know,
hard.
it's a different, they're different, you
Yeah.
know, they're just totally different stories. So I think for both of their own individual journeys and what they tried to do, I think they kind of have a special place in my heart forever because it exists at all, you know,
Sure.
so.
I know that there have been some talks of season 3 already. Brian Yorkie said something about it. Where do you see the show going?
I don't know. That's a question I can't like really
Yeah.
talk about, really,
Okay.
to be honest, because there's so many places for it to go, I
Sure.
think. And I think Brian is like, it's mustard in his brain. So you know, I definitely feel like we can always explore more.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's quite, that's a tricky one, you know.
Do you think that there's a place for Catherine Langford in season 3? Because so much of this season was about Clay letting Hannah go.
I mean, I personally, as like someone who thinks creatively, I wouldn't think, I feel it would be forced.
Okay.
But I mean, it's Catherine, you know, is so amazing. But if we want to do, you know, storytelling, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, it's like, I don't know where it where it wouldn't feel forced.
Sure.
You know, and she's going to be fine.
Yeah. I mean, she's so talented.
She's
Yeah.
amazing. Amazing. I mean, we couldn't have been more lucky to have found her.
Yeah. I would love to see more about where Clay goes from that final scene.
Yeah, he's just brilliant too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
The actors are just, you just want to see them and follow them and know what's going on because the actors just bring so much and you just like, you love them. We just were so lucky. I mean, it was a lot of effort from everybody to find the right cast.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just luck. We didn't find them all right away, but you know, it was a huge cast to feel and to be able to get such a talented ensemble that truly cares. And it was not about like career changing for them. It was about really getting out the message and honoring these characters. It was, you know, to the point to where we're like, okay, take a break. Like, you know, they were just so amazing.
Yeah. How do you balance everything between this show and the production company? I know you have an almost 5-year-old daughter. You have Selena. You have your husband. I mean, what is the secret?
Oh, there's no secret. Like, it's not like, it literally, it's like, you have to just take a break and go shut yourself up and make the break happen. It's challenging, but I have like a great employees at my company, and my husband is a great father, and he's like so involved, and he has great employees. So we have a good support system, and I wish we had a nanny, like, but we, like someone that we always knew that was like there, but we don't. We do try to juggle it, you know, ourselves. But yeah, it is a challenge. I guess you do it and you figure it out, and then you just make things priority and know that like you don't have to do everything. So that's like why I'm so selective of what I put my heart and passion into, because I'm gonna put my all into it.
Yeah.
And when people were telling us a while back when we were just like with Selena at the beginning stages and guiding her career that we should manage other people, I was like, I don't know that I can, because I only know how to do it from a mother's perspective. And so everything to me is from a mother's perspective, and you can become like, you know, my nickname is Mama Bear on the show. And so like, and that's amongst the writers, like, you know, so it's like, it becomes, you take it on. So I think it's just like making sure you only do what you feel like is the priority in that moment, you know?
Well, then seeing how dark, but also how incredible this industry can be, and seeing what Selena's navigated and gone through, would you ever let Gracie follow in her footsteps?
I would prefer that she be the vet she's talking about being all the time, but yet she is also quite entertaining and quite the storyteller. And, you know, she's around it all the time, you know, because my husband manages a lot of, well, he had mostly musicians, and then he has a couple other, like, talent. But so she goes to sets and, like, doesn't, no, she knows not to, like, talk. And then she'll go, you know, to concerts and, you know, watch the artists perform. And so she's around it, so it's kind of her every day. And I will support her. But you know, I don't know if I could do a round two.
Well, I mean, and Selena's been in it since, I mean, Barney.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's a long time, yeah.
Do you ever regret it? Or are you so happy to see the career longevity that she's had?
No, I mean, I don't think I regret anything because I feel like she wanted it. She wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So I supported her. And, you know, Barney was just in our small town, and, you know, I think you're destined to do what you do. And that's, for her to be picked out of that, in line next to Demi, no less.
Which is
like,
so funny.
then both, like, I'll go, like, down Disney or whatever. It's like, yeah, had Disney not did their world search, I don't know that we would be here, but there was a reason why that happened. And so it's like, I feel like she would have done it at 18 or, you know, whenever, if it was in her. And so I just kind of supported, really not expecting. It was, for me, whenever her and Demi would actually practice the Disney Channel sign, when they way before, and they're like, hi, Anna. And so the day she filmed hers, I got teary-eyed because I remember them doing that with like the glow necklaces.
Yeah.
And they were like and like they would cut the glow stick open. So it's all in my car, like, you know, like all the glow stuff everywhere. And the whole car would just be like, you know, luckily that stuff doesn't stain.
Yeah.
But they were just like doing that. So that was like, you know, moments like that. It was like, wow, this is kind of incredible.
What a memory.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
So magical. Is it weird for you to have been pulled into all the headline hoopla? There's been a lot out there about your guys' relationship today. Can you set that straight for us?
I don't see why I'm relevant.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like I'm out here doing, if you like follow like her career, I really don't do interviews unless it's for charity or like something important, like this is important to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, this probably won't happen on all of my projects. And, but yeah, it's, what I don't like about it, even for the celebrities themselves that get like wrapped in that, is what people don't realize is that everyone out here, they're people too. And they can make things messier, you know, like own reality shows. Like when you see most of those families fall apart.
Yep.
They barely make it through because the world is now like putting their opinion on. And so that's why like I would never do a reality show, like ever, because like I don't want it to mess with my family, because family is the most important thing, you know, there is.
Yeah.
Nothing else should really matter. So I don't know why anybody cares really about me.
Well,
you know, like honestly, it's
Yeah.
like in that sense.
Sure.
And I don't really know, you know, why they care in that world. I don't know. It's interesting.
Right.
It comes with the territory, I guess, you know, but, you know.
And I think it's just because people care so much about your family and they want to know that you guys are okay and that Hollywood hasn't affected the dynamic. I mean, you guys obviously work so well together and you found this amazing project to do, and I think that's why the interest was out there.
Well, that was the point of us doing press the first time around together, because we wanted the parents to see a parent and a child work together on something that we want parents and kids to talk about.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I was kind of like, oh, maybe we should do some together on that. And so that's why. Otherwise, I don't really do press or media
Right.
for anything.
Which is why we're so glad you're here.
Oh, well, thank you. No, I mean, it's just like, you know, I'm not as interesting as people like to, you know, build you up as. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, that's an interesting thought about me. But like,
Sure.
you know, like, oh, that happened? Like, you know, it didn't happen.
Right.
So it's like, you can't fight it. It's
Sure.
just whatever people put out there, they put out there.
But you guys are okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's my daughter.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's lifeline.
Sure. It's like real life.
Yeah. Like,
It's human.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah. We're going to take a few more of these. Anna on YouTube says, what do you do to prevent, oh, this is a heavy one. What to do to prevent suicide when you're a parent?
oh, that is a heavy question.
That's a heavy one.
That's why we made the show. I think it's just, I don't think that you will blame yourself for that, you know, happening, if it does happen. I just think the only thing you can do is just try to monitor little signs and pay attention more to what kind of goes on to in your kids' world, what's going on in culture and society, because, you know, like, we do tons of research for the show and know what's going on, and there's still things like we were talking out there that I didn't know exist.
Yeah.
So the pressure that this generation is in, I just feel like being as active, you know, as you can in your kid's life, and as much as they'll let you in, that there is really strictly no one clue, you know. And I mean, obviously, if they're saying it, that's a huge red flag, but if it can come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's sad.
So just pay attention.
It's just paying attention. I mean, you can't, I don't think anybody can prevent. You can do your best to know you cared and you tried or you paid attention, but I don't, if there was, we would stop every one of them.
Yeah.
You know.
2 more questions for you. I interviewed Selena a couple years ago, and she said that you're the one that instilled in her desire to give back and to get involved with charities and philanthropic work. Can you speak to that at all? I know that you still give back and you're very involved in so many charities.
I feel that giving back to me is usually when I'm happiest, because I experienced a lot growing up and I didn't have a lot, but so I was put in a position, you know, like that's when the case that the media actually does work for you, because now I can like go be a spokesperson for a charity, or I can give back, and that's when it's, you know, utilized for something so important. And it's, if the whole world would like not be all about a me space. And I come from Texas, so when I was in production in Texas, I have my own production company, it's night and day compared to, like, in Texas, if it was always like, what can we do for our community? And then I felt here that was the same way we were, but then it felt like, oh, it's like, what can you do for me? Oh, my eyes are floating over here because I'm already, you know, like, you're like, I don't feel anything's gonna happen. And I'm going, okay, that we were blessed to have something and the opportunity to do that. And if I can take away someone's pain because I know I can take it and I can hold it, I would rather do that than, you know, go on a vacation or whatever. I don't know. It's important to return the blessings, because that's the only way we're going to make this place better.
100%. Speaking of empowerment, I was at Taylor Swift's concert on Saturday when Selena got up there, and she gave this heartfelt speech about how much she loves Taylor. I'm just curious, as her mom, what do you love about that friendship?
We were actually there Friday night.
Oh,
we were there Friday night. And so what I love about that friendship is it's so solid. And with Taylor, I feel like they can tell each other anything, and like it will be an honest, like, in your best interest kind of relationship. Yeah. It's not about anything else, and it's like one you just don't find out here. And it's like with Taylor, you see what you what you see is what you get. She is who she is, and that's why like she's so grounded and like worked so hard, and she's always been there for Selena, and it's you just it's so hard to find someone who is kind of the same audience, and and it's so cutthroat right now that they came kind of, I mean, Taylor I think had already really been at a different level when they met, but they come up together, and they just have never parted. So to me, that's like a true friendship.
I could not agree more.
Yeah, it's just a true friendship.
I met Taylor on Saturday, and I got the same feeling. I was like, you are exactly how I picture you to be, and I love watching that friendship so much.
Yeah, it is. It was really cute because Gracie, when Gracie was born, Taylor bought her like boxes of clothes, like and they were all like all these clothes, and they got sent. And so when Gracie went backstage to talk to her, Gracie had bought her a bottle of butter. Like to give them back, and I was like, yeah, she probably doesn't need these, but okay. And
it's so thoughtful, though.
Yeah, and it was like, and then she, in line, she kept saying, "What was I supposed to say?" And I was just like, "Thank you for the clothes," or whatever, even though she's like seen her. And, yeah,
that's so sweet, though, and such a testament to you as a mom that she wanted to do that. For Taylor.
It was cute. It was really cute.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here and for being so open and for talking about this show. Before we wrap up, maybe one reason why you think people should watch this series in season 2.
Because I feel like even I, working on the show, I get something from it.
Yeah.
So it's like as we're creating the project, things to me, like I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've done that, I did that. It's just to maybe even self-reflect, or if you're concerned about someone, educate yourself on the different ways, and check out the resources that the show gives them.
100%.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys watch those PSAs, and there are a lot of resources. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you follow up with her or follow her on social media, Kick to the Curb Productions, right?
Just Instagram, nothing else.
On
really.
Instagram, yes. But she will respond to you, which is amazing. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.